Unsolicited advice.
What you whispering for? Yo, what's unsolicited advice? Take it or leave it. Hey everybody. Just came from the store. And once again, I thought I'd knock out a couple of videos. I had a long weekend, so I had time to think and write some things down, get my thoughts together on certain things. And I bought some new glasses too. I found these on somewhere on Amazon, but they change. They go from like dark to light. If you move the little thing up here, I don't even know if y'all can see that, but it goes from dark to light and dark to light. I like these. I'll wear them eventually. I don't know when, but I'm gonna wear them. Today, we're going to talk about something that really, really gets under people's skin. It really kind of, and sometimes it breaks you as a human being. And it causes you to feel used, unappreciated. It makes you feel like you're valued, but not in the right way. I like to call it being back pocket, like somebody putting you in their back pocket until they need you. But what we're talking about is, feeling like you're the last resort to someone. Like someone just coming to you because you're that last, your last resort. I done did it, I done tried everything else, so now I'm gonna come to you. Now I need you. And, for some people, hey, in their mind, it's okay, well, whatever. I'll always be there for you. Good or bad, I'm gonna be there. And to others, it's like, yeah, but why do you only need me? When you're lonely or when you're stuck in a rut or you're stuck in a situation you can't get out of. So a lot of times when people treat you this way, it's a fear of being alone. Some people worry that if they don't settle down by a certain age, they'll miss their chance for love or marriage, or even children. Society often pressures people to be partnered with someone, especially, if you're in your 30s or 40s. A lot of times, you get pressure from your family or from the culture that you're in. Some cultures or families, being single, that's frowned upon. You might choose someone who is good enough to meet expectations, even if it's not your first choice. Or shall I say that people will choose you because you meet their expectations, even though you're not their first choice. So, you kind of have to look at it like that. You always want to feel like you're their first choice, that there was no other option to them. You want to feel like you're the one that they've always wanted. And what comes with that is people feel like they're lowering their standards, after a disappointment. So, after repeated heartbreak or cheating or failed relationships, some people give up finding their ideal person and they just settle for someone safe and stable, such as yourself. And this is what causes you to be the last resort. It's like, oh, I already know that person's gonna treat me good. Oh, they're so sweet, they're so nice, yada, yada, yada. I know they're gonna treat me well, but right now that ain't really who I want. I got my eyes on this other person, but I always know this person's gonna be there. So I'll get to them, if this doesn't work out. And people will go through the worst stuff, not knowing that they're not preparing themselves for you. They're just tolerating you because you're the last resort. So, a lot of times when they get to that point, it's just a desire for like stability. So they may just choose someone to provide emotional or financial stability or lifestyle security. You know, even if the chemistry is weak, they're choosing that person for this. So, you might see a woman with a man and you look at them like, I wonder why, why she chose him. They don't kind of like they fit. Well, she chose him because he provided security, financial security, or he kept up her lifestyle, even though they have no chemistry. Those type of women or those type of men, they tend to cheat because they're going to stay with that person, but that person might not meet certain fun sides that they want to bring out of themselves. So they'll go and cheat or get their little fun from somebody else, but they not going to leave that person. Because of the stability. It's too much stability and security there. They're not going to mess that up. So, but it's just one of those things. It's weird. It's so weird. And men the same way too. That's what they'll do. They're not going to mess up their little security blanket. That woman that'll cook for them, clean, be there for them, take care of them, give them money, let them borrow the car or whatever. They're not going to leave that. They'll cheat, but they're not going to leave them. Biological clock. Now this is for like women and somewhat men, but mostly women. So in areas with, especially like an imbalanced gender ratio, men to women or women to men, or a small dating pool, the choices are limited. So some may settle for what's the best, for what's best or what's available. It's nothing personal, but to be honest, a lot of them settle. That's just the name of the game. They settle. That's not who they really want. So they back pocket this person, say, I'm gonna keep this person in my pocket. They treat me good. They do all the other stuff, but they're just not fun. They don't turn me on the way this other person turns me on, but I'm going to keep them because I feel financially, stable. I feel secure around this person. This person's going to take care of me. We're going to get back to I want to get back to the lack of options. Lack of options in areas and, in rural towns. So the smaller the town, probably the smaller the options because everybody knows everybody. Everybody's been with everybody. So the dating pool is very small. So when you're dealing with a biological clock, if she wants children and she feels like time's running out, she may choose someone willing to build a family with her, even if it's not her dream partner. This person is just fulfilling the fantasy without the sensual, lusting, romantic part. He's just filling everything else. Let's just say, he's a God-fearing man, and he takes care of his home. He buys things, he does things, whatever. That's kind of just some of them tend to choose that. Even though that's not their first choice, they want that fun, exciting guy to get to get with the program and settle down with them, but they know he's not, so they choose this other dude. So another way you're going to feel like you're the last resort is if somebody's treating you as a revenge or a rebound. So, some people may pick you out of spite, they're going to pick you because out of spite, out of jealousy, or to prove a point to someone that rejected them, or maybe seeing their ex move on, or the person that they really want to be with not giving them enough attention. You never want to feel like that person because that's a dirty feeling, no matter if you're a man or a woman, to find out that that person only is around you for revenge or a rebound. And, y'all just on a whirlwind affair or whatever, and y'all just all up on each other, and the next day, ghost. It sucks, but shit like that happens. Emotional exhaustion. You know, after years of trying to win at dating, you know, they might just want peace and accept, you know, someone that won't hurt them. You know, even if it's somebody they're not deeply attracted to. And see, that's the key word, attracted to. That's going to be one of those words you're going to keep hearing. Attraction, you know, they don't turn them on, you know, they don't excite them. So, you know, a lot of times that's where a lot of this comes from. That's why I said people can be very shallow. You can give them everything that they need to have a peaceful, loving life, and they won't accept that because they want what they want. In that moment, they want what they want, even if it's not the right thing for them. You know, people are going to choose lust over love every time. It's just the way of the world. Lastly, I would say the probably the number one thing is just social image. Some people, like I said, they can be very shallow and they worry about what other people think. And that's where a lot of the damage comes from. They're worried about what their family thinks, what their friends think, you know, what their coworkers think, just anybody that's in their life. You know, they worry about that. So they're going to choose someone for status, you know, or appearances, you know, or events, you know, or just to avoid judgment. You know, they might not be, you know, Mr. Perfect or Miss Perfect, but they're going to choose this person because it fits the image that they're trying to project out there. You know, some people have to live that lie. They got to keep that lie going. So they got to have that image. And it's, like I said, it's a dirty game. But you never want to feel like you're the last resort. You never want to feel like you're the last resort. One of the reasons why you don't want to feel like you're the last resort is because if you're the last resort, you're going to feel like everybody thinks that way. You're going to feel like you're always not good enough. Even if somebody is starting to treat you like you're good enough, you're going to be like, okay, no, I've been the last resort too many times. I've been, you know, the last one picked too many times. You know, I've had to go through too much. Why is this person being nice? Do they really want me? You're going to treat everybody like that because you're going to be so used to it. So I always say, you know, fuck with the people that fuck with you. You know, be with the person that wants to be with you, that wants to just spend time, just wants to be around you, you know, wants to spend time with you, has put in that work, has always been consistent. You need to pick that person because that person is going to love you. That person is going to be consistent. That person is going to be safe, secure, stable, whatever it is you're looking for. If they've never been that, they're going to be that for you because they showed you that you're the one that they want. And I know some of y'all say, oh, yeah, whatever, you know, yada, 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 yada. Stop thinking like that. You know, if you're going to be negative about everything, you're going to get negative results. You know, you got to work on everything. No matter if you do find the person of your dreams, you still got to work on it. So, as I always say, that's just my unsolicited advice. Okay? So, you can, I don't want you to just take it or leave it. I want you to take that advice. That's good, solid advice. I'll see y'all later.